Hey guys, it's Calvin, and I just finished watching Erased, and it was amazing. And if you guys haven't seen this anime, I highly recommend you stop watching me, go watch that anime, and then you guys can come back and watch this video. Or if you're halfway through Erased or whatever, go finish it up and then watch this video. So this is going to be a semi-spoiler free, just thoughts video on what I thought about the anime. Now the anime is only 12 episodes long, so it is kind of short compared to a lot of other animes, but I didn't mind, and that was because none of the episodes in Erased felt like they were filler episodes. Every episode had something significant to contribute to the overall story of Erased. And to me, quality always beats quantity. So Erased is actually about this guy named Satoru. He's 29 years old. He works as a pizza delivery guy, and he's an aspiring manga artist. But he has this very unique ability, which he calls revival. And it's basically this ability where he gets to go back in time anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes to try to prevent something bad from happening. So if something bad is going to happen, he'll actually get pushed back in time a few seconds or a few minutes, and his job now is to try to figure out what's going on, what things look faulty, and how he can prevent them. So in the first episode, he actually experiences revival a few times, and at the very end of the episode, something very bad happens to his mom, and he goes through a very special type of revival. And that is all I'm going to say about the story. The story for Erased really starts when he goes through this special revival, and it is just an awesome trip going through this story with Satoru, with everybody else, and it was just a really enjoyable anime. And it is definitely one of those types of animes where you watch and you're like, yes, this is amazing, as opposed to, yeah, this was a pretty good anime. So personally, I actually got into anime a little late. It was actually around my college time. My roommate at the time, now a very good friend of mine, actually introduced me to my first anime, which is right there, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And ever since then, I fell in love with anime, and I try to watch it as much as I can where time permits. So Erased, it was 12 episodes, but it actually took me a few weeks to watch. The very first time I watched it, it took about 2 weeks to try to get through the first 6 episodes, not because they were boring or anything. I think they were very well done, but just because of work and play and school and just everything else in my life. But I remember coming home from work one Friday night, and I think I was on episode 6 or 7, and the story was just so gripping that I ended up finishing Erased all in one sitting. It took me a few hours, but I just sat down and watched the whole rest of the anime in one sitting. It was that good. So the story itself is very touching, and it's very well developed. There's a lot of themes of love and loss and despair, and a lot of self-reflection that goes on between Satoru, his life, and just the overall story. Satoru is actually this kind of a almost weird guy who doesn't really seem to care about a lot of things, but through revival he almost gets a second chance at life. And seeing his relationship between his mom and his friends grow was really personal, it was really touching, and it was just very well done. And that's really at the heart of Erased, this sense of belonging between people, this sense of having deep, meaningful relationships with people. And it was just a lot of fun and touching to go through Erased, learning some of these things. So Erased itself is actually very well animated. It was very enjoyable to watch. It doesn't have all the crazy action, fighting, jumping scenes as some of the other animes do, but just the animation and the scenery and everything about the anime was really well done, and I really enjoyed watching it. So to me, a very good anime starts with a really good story, and the story was one thing I absolutely loved about Erased. But just as much as I loved the story, there was actually one other thing that I loved just as much, and that was the soundtrack. So all the music that was composed for this anime was very well done. I believe the composer was Yuki Kajiura, and she did an awesome job with the score, with all the music, with everything. And I loved the soundtrack so much that I actually have it on my iPad, and I have it connected to a Bluetooth speaker in my bedroom, and more times than not I actually listen to the soundtrack as I'm trying to fall asleep. It's just very peaceful, very touching, and just very beautiful. There are actually 2 pieces of the score that I really like. The first one is a spider's thread. It's actually one of the most chilling sounds in the anime, and the other one is Reasoning, which is a very amusing piece of music to listen to. So the ending, I know some people didn't really like the ending. They felt it might have been too rushed, or they just tried to wrap up the anime really quickly in the last few episodes or the story, and I totally get that. But to me, I was okay with it. This main story story of Erased was so good that I actually didn't really mind what happened in the end. I did wish, however, that it ended a little bit differently, but that only proves that I really fell in love with the characters and the story. I wanted something more. And the characters themselves are very well developed. Each one has a really significant and important story, and you can almost connect with Satoru and some of the other people in the anime, and you feel their loss and their happiness and everything else, and it just makes you that much more immersed in the story, and that is a sign of a really great anime. So would I recommend Erased? Yes, I would absolutely recommend Erased. It easily fits in my top 3 animes of all time that I personally just love. I don't really have an order of them, I don't really have a list. It's just a bubble of top 3s that I really like, and it's Erased, it's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and actually Digimon Tamers. Now, Tamers is actually more nostalgic for me, that's why it's in my top 3, but Erased easily fits into that bubble, and I would absolutely recommend it to anybody who is trying to get into anime or just needs something really good to watch. So I'm actually currently watching Sword Art Online, and I'm about halfway through the anime, and it's pretty good. Somebody was saying that the second half of that anime gets kind of weird or not so good. I don't know, I haven't watched it yet, so I'll definitely let you guys know if you guys are interested how I do like it. The anime that I watched before Erased was actually Tokyo Ghoul. I thought it was a pretty good anime. I really loved the music in it and all the fighting and action scenes. I thought it was really well done. But I do wish the story was a little bit more deeper. But hey, it was a pretty good anime overall. And the anime I actually want to watch after I'm done with Sword Art Online is actually a film. It's called Your Name, and I've heard some really great things about it, and I'm pretty excited to watch it. So if you guys want to know what I think about that anime or that film, definitely let me know and I might make a video on it in the future. So if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you guys want to see more content like this, go ahead and click subscribe. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.